This is the Process Shot. I'm Michael, I'm stuck in a movie theater, and I've seen Love God, a wild acid trip of a horror film from director Frank Gros, made back in 1997. It follows a handful of mental asylum patients who have been released due to overcrowding, and in particular, we follow LaRue, who suffers from an obsessive reading disorder, which forces him to read and destroy any printed words he sees. As he tries to survive in Manhattan while rejecting his medication, he finds himself drawn towards Helen, the mute daughter of his neighbor who is obsessed with hygiene and cleanliness. Meanwhile, the doctor who released LaRue is on the hunt for a monstrous prehistoric worm which has escaped captivity and entered the sewers of the city, as he believes the worm to be the key to unlocking religious mysteries of love and immortality. Also, there's a woman who believes herself to be Kali, the Hindu goddess of death and destruction. Needless to say, the film is absolutely crazy by design. Love God has a very dynamic story that starts off at a breakneck pace and hardly lets up. Chaos and destruction seemingly the name of the game. The story, as I described it before, may seem a bit scattered and disorganized, but everything does come together over time as the hunt for the prehistoric worm intersects with the film's other stories and characters. The speed of the film's plot is almost a detriment, moving so fast that scenes get the point across before they actually end. But it's carried by the film's editing, which not only gives the film its pacing, but is able to keep that notion at bay with a nearly seamless effect, putting more focus on visual storytelling and character performances than the ongoing events. The performances themselves also help to carry the film and keep it entertaining, adding to the overall punk aesthetic in their exaggerated mannerisms that are physically as snappy and chaotic as the rest of the movie's elements. Love God puts a good amount of emphasis on style and aesthetic, which could easily work against the film, but instead comes through with a sense of stylization and creative intent, emphasizing the mental state of the characters and the chaos of their situations and the overall calamity going on. Cinematography also helps with this through handheld camera work that is able to put the viewer within the scene and make them a part of the ongoing action. The film's lighting and colors are put to use more to help create a similar tone within the setting, painting Manhattan as dark and grungy at night, with daytime scenes only helping to show off more of that grunge. And again, editing keeps the film moving along at a fast pace, though it's worth noting that there are some slower scenes that not only allow the viewer to breathe, but create a sort of sentimental contrast, as the film only really slows down during scenes of love or connection between characters, most of all LaRue and Helen. There's also a hefty amount of special effects work that show off the prehistoric worm and its output within this world, adding to the film's aesthetic and tone by way of grotesque monsters that have to be seen to be understood. In the end, Love God is essentially that. It's a movie that's not easy to describe, but better experienced. It's a film that relies heavily on aesthetic and visual style, which leads the story to suffer a bit, but not necessarily in a way which hurts the overall experience. The movie will definitely be a turn on for those who might like oddball or off-kilter films with a rapid pacing, unusual characters, grotesque situations, and a whole lot of do-it-yourself attitude. But others will be turned off by the same thing. So really, it's up to you if you think this movie is worth checking out. Personally, I recommend it. Wait, give me a sec. Love God. Frank Gros, 1997. 3.5 stars. Personally, I recommend it. There we go. That's it for this review. Leave a like if you liked it, and leave a comment if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. I suppose this movie is another case of being too weird for me to properly describe. I still gotta work on that.